What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another live stream. Thanks for hanging out. If you're just joining in for the first time, thank you. And let me know where you're tuning in from. I always like to know where people are watching from. And yeah, so I got the chat pulled up here. Actually, it was pulled up. Now it's gone. There it is. Okay, so yeah, a couple of quick announcements, quick things. First of all, we're running a sale, 55% off which course is it? I can't even remember which course we just put on sale. I'll be honest with you. I've had some serious technical issues here right before we we went live. I had a 60 cycle hum, like a ground loop hum in my microphone. I've never had that before with this mic. I've been using this mic in this position for well over a year, recorded dozens of episodes of dipped in tone and all kinds of videos and stuff with it. Never had an issue. 10 minutes before I come on to get on a live stream, all of a sudden there's a phantom ground hum that I just can't figure out. But I think we got it. So hopefully you're not hearing 60 cycle buzz in my microphone. Breaking out of the pentatonic box. 55% off that course. It's a great way to support my channel. This is how I make my living with these video courses. I greatly appreciate it. You can get 55% off of that course. If you are a guitar player that has been stuck in or around the pentatonic box and you're playing, you feel like there's ruts in your soloing, your improvisation, this course is for you. It's designed to get you out of that pentatonic box and playing stuff both from an improvisation perspective and a writing perspective and everything, all up and down the neck and actually understanding what's going on. So yeah, link is in the chat. It's in the description. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me plug it. Okay, so tonight we are going to be looking at some of my favorite pedals this year so far. Now, these are not necessarily pedals that came out this year. I think most of them are pedals that came out this year. But primarily they're pedals that are new to me. Now, some of these I bought and paid for and purchased. Some of them were given to me. I will be sure to disclose when one was given to me versus when I bought one. This stream's not sponsored by anybody. I will have links to all of the pedals in the description. In fact, they're already there. So if you want to see what I'm talking about tonight ahead of time, you can just check the description. And we're just going to sit here and nerd out on some cool pedals, some stuff that I really like and I think is fun. And there you go. So yeah, Oklahoma City, nice. Atlanta, LA, very cool. Oh, and one other quick plug, Fretboard Summit this weekend. I'm going to be there. Really looking forward to it. Chicago. I've never been to Fretboard Summit before. I've always wanted to go. I'm actually giving a talk on Sunday morning, which I'm a little nervous about. I've never given a talk before, but the topic of the talk is going to be, is the internet ruining guitar? So I may turn that into a video afterwards, but if you are in or around the Chicagoland area this weekend, come out to Fretboard Summit. The lineup is insane. It's going to be so much fun. A lot of friends there, a lot of really cool players and musicians and people there. So yeah, okay. First pedal here. This is without a doubt probably my favorite pedal or second favorite pedal this year. This is the Beam Splitter from Old Blood Noise Endeavors. Now, I purchased this pedal, paid full price for it. I bought it after watching the JHS video on it that Nick made. Nick is one of my favorite musicians. He's so incredibly talented. And the JHS video that Nick made about this pedal immediately made me go out and buy it. He influenced me because he's an influencer. This is a really cool concept for a distortion pedal. So if you're not familiar with the Beam Splitter, it is a distortion pedal, kind of, but it does more than just distortion. So, the guitar I'm playing tonight, yes, my Novo Solus, which was actually purchased for me by my lovely wife, who's in the chat, Tilly Scholl. I got this one a couple years ago. This is one that Dennis Fano built, and it is, without a doubt, one of the best guitars I've ever played. It's truly a special, special guitar. Okay, so obligatory, here's my clean tone. Going into the Axe effects again tonight because it was working. last time. And general rule of thumb with these live streams is if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So also, this is part Q&A stream. So if you have questions, I got the chat pulled up. You can @ me in the chat. That'll highlight my name so I can see your question, or you can leave a super chat donation, whatever you want. So yeah. Okay, Beam Splitter, Old Blood Noise. So this came out earlier this year. Essentially, what it kind of is 3 different distortion circuits in one box. So if you look, it's sort of split up by the different colors. You've got the purple, then this sort of teal green color, and then this blue color. I don't know how well you can see that on stream. Let me see if I can get this closer to the camera. It is patched in right now, which hindsight being 2020, I probably should have waited to patch this in before I went live. But all right, so check it out. Beam splitter, right? You got the 3 channels there. So my guitar is plugged in to the main input, and you can think of this purple channel, those 3 knobs, as sort of the main channel. Now, if you're running this like a normal pedal, just like straight in, straight out, these 3 different channels all sum together to one output. But as you can see, I've got 4 cables plugged into this thing right now, which is really the secret sauce of this pedal. So we'll start with just like the distortion. It's a cool distortion sound. It's like sort of fuzzy, sort of overdrivey. So I've got it set up right now. The guitar is going in, guitar is going out into the front of the Axe Effects, right? So if I turn it on, all we're going to hear right now is the main channel, this purple channel here. So it's super fuzzy. That's the gain turned like way up. Let me turn down a little bit. Not a transparent drive at all. Real mid-rangey, real like spitty and distorted. That's with the tone pretty high up too. Pretty cool distortion sound. Now, the real vibe with this pedal is what's going on here with the channel 2 and 3, if you want to call it that, or the blue and green channel. So these 2 cables here are actually run DI into 2 different mic preamps here in my rack. You can't quite see them behind the mic arm, but they're going into 2 Cappy mic pre's, the DI. And each one of these channels has its own individual out, okay? So this green channel has an output, which is going into the left channel, the left mic pre. This blue channel has its own output. This is why this pedal kicks ass. So check this out. I'm going to unmute the other 2 channels and listen to this because it is rad. If you're listening with headphones, you should be able to hear and like feel the stereo width of this. What's basically happening is these 2 DI channels are being hard panned left and right, which is giving you the stereo image, but you can also tell that there's a delay in here, and that's what's happening here. So it's not just the 2 distortion circuits. You also have a delay with their own separate time and decay setting, and then this white knob in the middle is the deviate control. So you can essentially triple track your guitar sound. This is what I love about this pedal and why I bought it. And in fact, this is one of those instances where a piece of gear can inspire you. So when this pedal showed up, I was working on some music, and literally I ended up using this on almost my entire EP. I just finished up an EP. It should be coming out hopefully in the next several weeks. I'll have more information on that soon. But all over that EP is this pedal with this setup where I've got 1 channel going into an amplifier and then the other 2 channels going in DI and getting this super wide, vibey, like weird triple tracked guitar sound. All right, so then I can, that's what the delays like turned all the way up. If I turn the delay times down and the decay times a little bit, you get a little bit more of just that stereo spread thing happening. So that's more subtle, but that's a really cool sound too. Or for riffs, like a, let's see. So by adding a lot of delay time on one side and bringing the delay time down on the other side, it really adds to that like triple tracked guitar thing, which is super cool. And the deviate knob basically, I think, adds more deviation between the two sides. So if I turn that up, that's so cool, man. Dude, this genuinely is like... Now, you could do this a number of different ways, right? Like I said, if you just use the main input and output, it sums all three sides together to go straight into your amp. So you get this sort of like almost slap back fuzz kind of thing happening, which is cool. Or, you know, I'm going DI here so that I like that really spitty kind of terrible DI sound. Like if I mute the Axe effects here, check this out. Like this is just the two DI sides. Or bring the amp back in. And you can get some interesting effects. So if I turn the delay, like the decays all the way up. So I've got like a reverb kind of thing on my left side. And then if I turn the delay time up on the right side, the two different delay times are different. And the deviate knob controls that. So I can get this really crazy... Turn the volume down on the guitar a little bit. It's just so badass, dude. This pedal is so cool. Yeah, so that's the Beam Splitter. Again, I bought and paid for this thing full price. It's all over my EP. It genuinely inspired like a bunch of really cool melody ideas and sounds. And I'm going to have to figure out how, like, I want to build a rig based around this music because I want to be able to go out and play it live. And I want to be able to have this sound. So I've got to figure out a way. I might actually talk to Mason from Vertex about this, but like, how do I do this kind of sound live where, you know, one side goes out to my amp and then maybe I have a DI, like a stereo DI going, you know, front of house that has the other two sides. It's sick. Amy's asking, will a specific green box be included in stream today? No, absolutely not. If you're just joining us, we're running a sale on the Breaking Out of the Pentatonic Box course. You can get 55% off. Link is in the chat and in the description box. I appreciate you checking it out. And yeah, Let's see, any questions here that I missed? Can it cover Jack White stuff? Yes, I was just playing a bunch of Raconteurs stuff. What's in my glass tonight? Steve's asking. I've got the old Granddad. Back on the old Granddad. Okay, so that's the beam splitter. It's badass. I really dig it. And it's cool to see, like, you know, companies like Old Blood Noise. Again, I'm not affiliated with these guys at all, you know, but it's really cool to see. Oh, by the way, there's an expression input as well, which I haven't tried, but I imagine you can assign the expression input to control maybe the deviate knob, I would imagine. But yeah, man, if you're into unique stuff, you know, something a little bit left of center, especially in the overdrive and distortion department, this thing is worth checking out for sure. So yeah, beam splitter. Am I still using the Automaton Mark II? Yeah, it is. It's still on my studio board down here. You can't see it because I'm blocking it in the stream, but yeah. Cool. All right, next up. This is another one that I bought. I paid full price for this the day that they announced it. Hologram microcosm. Or sorry, Chroma console. I'm staring at the microcosm just off screen here. Hologram Chroma console. This thing is another similar situation to the beam splitter. When I got it, I immediately started using it on everything. On bass, on drums, on guitars, on keyboards. It's amazing. This is, I think, genuinely one of the best pedals ever made. This is a future classic, in my opinion. Much like the microcosm, which I wasn't planning on talking about tonight, but it's right there. If you haven't seen this, I mean, everyone has to have seen this, right? It's kind of everywhere. But basically, you've got 4 different effects slots, and within each slot, you have 5 different effects available. So you can build different presets and do all kinds of stuff, and there's like the ability to have them morph and change and everything. It sounds good on everything. Like on bass guitar, this is insane. It's so good. The compressor in this combined with like the sweeten setting and everything. Also, you know, if you're doing a lot of recording and production or mixing and things like that, put drums through this thing. Like put a drum loop or drum break, put vocals through it. It's so sick. So what we're going to do is, let's see here. That's my guitar input, I think. We're just going to go straight in, treat it like a guitar pedal here. Straight into the amp, which is the Axe Effects. Okay, make sure I got this patched right. I don't. It's backwards. Made the mistake of using 2 of the exact same cable, and I can't remember which one is in and out. Wait a second. What the hell's going on here? Oh. Dumb. You ever done something dumb before? Okay, so I have to, because the last time I used this, I had it set for line input. So I'm going to set it on its like input mode. Just play my guitar into it. And it's going to set its input gain, which is a super cool feature because it is designed to take line level and instrument level. So I don't even know what this setting is right here. So I'm just going to turn it on and see what it sounds like. That's pretty wild. I don't know what I was doing with this thing. All right, so let's start with something a little like, start with just the reverb. How about that? So this is the reverb. Nice sort of long, lush reverb. And I've got the mix turned all the way up on this thing right now. Lo-fi. Yeah, this thing is a lo-fi machine. So one of my favorite things about it is the compressor at this texture side on the end is so good. Like, it's a really, really heavy compressor, but it's very, very cool. That weird overtone sticking out in the reverb. So I'll turn the mix down to make it a little less, like... We'll switch over to the cassette settings. This is like a warbly, sun-baked, like, cassette. Oh, yeah, dude. I love it. This is Kill the Reverb. This is just the cassette now. Turn the mix all the way up. So yeah, you can get... Oh, that's cool. You can get the, like, lo-fi... Dude, this stand sucks. Okay, there we go. That lo-fi thing going on. So over here on the far right, or your left side, I guess, is the character setting, which is like your overdrive and saturation side. This sweeten thing, which is supposed to be like a preamp, like a studio preamp, is amazing. Let's see, turn it down a little bit there. Okay. So it just is like... So already that's kind of cool, right? But let's say I want to add over on the movement side, let's see. The doubler is really cool. So this is kind of like a double tracker kind of thing. Vibrato maybe. Let's bring the rate way down. We'll do this. Will get us even more into that like warbly vinyl tape thing. A little like too seasick there. And again, if it's too much, just bring the mix down so it's kind of tucked underneath your guitar. And then we can add some like delay or reverb. Let's add just a nice like analog delay. Yeah, dude. So we can make it a little less seasick here. So we'll turn off the... So now it's just the sweeten and go to the tape delay here. And then add the, maybe the phaser. So now we got like kind of just a little more straight ahead sort of sound. it's just an amazing like inspiration box because the combination of effects that they have here and how good they are, like you could do these sounds without this pedal, right? Like right now I've got a preamp, I've got a phaser and a tape echo, right? That's not unheard of. A lot of us have that kind of stuff on our board. But what I don't have on my board easily is like this cassette sort of lo-fi thing and, you know, maybe a pitch modulator. So like I could, you know, go down a step. And maybe we speed the time up and bring the delay amount back. So now I've got like a... It's just so cool, man. It's such a cool pedal. And I love that they call it a console because it's got the wedge shape. Like when I first got it, in fact, most of what I do with it is not on a pedal board at all. It's like, it just literally lives on my desk, patched into my outboard rack here. And I just send stuff through it and it sits on my desk like a little console, just like this. And you pull something up and you dial in a sound and then you print it into your mix. And I love it. Absolutely love it. I might actually end up buying a second one so that I can have one on a pedal board and have one that just stays up here in the studio because I really love it that much. Like I don't want to have to keep bringing this one back and forth to stuff. See, Christopher, can I do a video of running drums through pedals and possibly your signal flow? That could be cool. Yeah, maybe for the second channel. That'd be a cool video for the second channel. I don't think that would do well over on the main channel because, you know, most of the people that watch these videos are not interested in drum mixing techniques, I imagine. So yeah, but I do that stuff a lot, man. You can't see it here, but in this rack, I have a 500 series rack and there's two radial ecstasies, EXTCs. They make a 500 series rack version and they make like a, it looks like a DI box version. But essentially what it is a way to convert a line level signal to a guitar level or instrument level signal to send through a pedal. It lets you patch pedals into like your Pro Tools session or your Logic session or whatever. Because most of these pedals aren't designed to see line level input, like mic level input. Line level. The Chroma console it has a really cool feature where like if you hold both foot switches down like I did a minute ago, it'll take a look at the signal coming in and set its input gain accordingly. So that's cool. That's a nice like modern feature that you're starting to see more and more of in some of the effect world. But for like drives, fuzzes, more traditional effects, things that aren't designed to see a line level signal, these ecstasies are great because they let you just patch in. You know, for me, I've got a patch bay, but you could just do it with your interface if you wanted to. They let you patch in effects into, you know, your session to send vocals through. One really cool thing to do with drums, for example, is like take a fuzz pedal or a distortion pedal and put it on a separate aux track and then send your drums as a mono send through that pedal and then tuck that overdrive or that distorted drum sound underneath your drums. And if you do that, even in like a really subtle way, it just adds this like weight and this compression and this like kick and punch to your drum sound. That's really cool. You can do it either like with your entire drum mix, or you could do it with your kick drum. Or your toms, for example. Chad Blake is my favorite mix engineer. He mixes like, you know, the Black Keys records. There's an amazing Los Lobos record from the early mid 90s that he mixed. And I wish I could play it here on stream. It's so good. But and then a Doyle Bramhall, the second record from the 90s called Jelly Cream. If you go look up Jelly Cream, the Doyle Bramhall record, there is a song on there called, I think, Snake Charmer. The drum intro on Snake Charmer is my favorite drum sound ever, period. And that was mixed by Chad Blake. And Chad Blake is known for using a lot of like distortion on his drums, specifically like the Sans amp, you know, the bass DI Sans amp thing. He's I watched a Mix with the Masters thing with him where he uses that on his toms, for example. It can be the plug-in version, or it can be the you know, the pedal version or whatever. But that's the same idea, right? You take a distortion box, a fuzz, an overdrive, whatever, and you can patch it in with something like these EXTCs, and then just put stuff through it and mix with it. It's so sick. So much fun. That's the stuff that I get really excited about. Yeah, Snake Charmer. That's it. Let's see here. Chase Bliss Mood Mark II in keyboard mode is also very fun. Yes. David Menendez, there are pedals like Fairfield circuitry that don't have expression input, and for me, that kills the potential use. I don't have any Fairfield circuitry stuff. I have come close to buying them a couple times. Every time I go to Nashville, I go to Eastside Music Supply over in East Nashville, which if you're ever in Nashville, I highly recommend Eastside. That's one of my favorite shops in town. They've got such a great pedal selection, and they have a lot of Fairfield circuitry stuff. And yeah, maybe next time I'm up there, I'll go pick up some Fairfield stuff, because I know they do a lot in this like lo-fi, vibey kind of realm, you know. Love my thoughts on Tulsa. Man, Tulsa's an amazing city. My wife and I have been to Tulsa a few different times now for bike races, for Tulsa Tough. Tulsa's awesome. It's such a cool town. Ton of music history there. Ton of art there. The food's really good. The people are super nice. Yeah. Okay. Next up. This one was given to me. Did not pay for this one, but JHS hard drive. Now, this one just came out recently. I'm sure you've seen, you know, the videos and stuff like that, but this is a really, really cool, like heavy distortion. And I believe it's a unique circuit for them too, which is cool. I didn't plug this in backwards, did I? I might have plugged that in backwards. Oh, yeah, quick plug. Running a sale. Breaking Out of the Pentatonic Box course, 55% off. Link is in the chat and in the description box below. That video course is for people that feel like they might be stuck in the pentatonic box, playing the same things over and over again. You're having trouble coming up with ideas for soloing, for melodies that don't, you know, exist just in that straight ahead box shape. I have a whole video course dedicated to it, and it is on sale for 55% off. And I greatly appreciate the support. Cool. Hard drive. Just dial in like a disgusting, yeah, like real gnarly. So gnarly. It's just like really super compressed. Turn the mids down. I like having the mids boosted in this. Bring the volume down a little bit. That's so, it's just like there's something fun about playing with way too much gain sometimes, like way too much distortion, where it's just farty and saturated. And let's see, bring the drive down a little bit here. Dude, that mid-range control is so powerful. Like, listen to the amount of sweep that you have in here. So if I just push the mids up, like, we go from like boxy, round, and the way that it interacts with the high end, it's cool because if you add treble, it's like it increases that peak. It's like tightening the Q on the EQ, and it like it's actually kind of useful too because you can actually find exactly what mid-range frequency you want to boost or cut. Like, let's say I wanted to cut that right there, right? Yeah, it is a noisy pedal. I'm also running a single coil here. You know, I guess typically you would run a noise gate with this, but I'm not a noise gate. I typically don't play with enough gain to justify having a noise gate. Yeah, it's a cool pedal, man. It's like, for me, this is not necessarily a go-to pedal, but it's different than anything else that I have, which is why I'm talking about it, because it just does that spitty, gnarly, like, gain sound really well. And because of that mid-range control, you actually have quite a bit of like range in terms of sound available to you. Like, working with different amps, different guitars, it's a cool pedal. So yeah, it's been out for a little while. JHS, hard drive. It's cool to see them kind of getting into a little bit of the heavier stuff. They're not typically known for that. Chicken Little, what are my thoughts on Greer Lightspeed? I love the Greer Lightspeed. That's one of my all-time like favorite pedals. I've had one for 10 years at this point. I mean, I bought one I think whenever they first came out, and it stayed on my board basically indefinitely. I still have my original one, and Nick Greer is a friend, really sweet guy. I think it is one of the best pedals. It is why I like Blues Breaker style overdrives. Is the Lightspeed. Can you use it like a boost? You could, but that's not really what this pedal's for. This is not like, hey, let me just bring the drive down and use it to hit my amp a little harder. This is like, I want this to completely transform the sound of my amp and turn it into something that it's not going to do on its own, right? So, for example, change the sound here slightly. This is a Morgan AC20 preset here on the Axe FX. So that's kind of like a chimey British edge of breakup. Well, it's pretty broken up actually, but very bright, very chimey. Really nice sound actually. Actually, really nice sound. Right, so there's that sound. And then if I turn this on, now we have not very, not what you would call transparent. Even if I turn the drive down, like... You know how compressed that is? The sustain. Bring the drive up a little bit. That's a fun pedal, man. It's really fun. How is the hard drive much different than the Charlie Brown and Angry Charlie? Yeah, I had a Charlie Brown years ago. It might have been like a V2, like early JHS days. And I never got on with that one as much. As far as I understand, the Charlie Brown was supposed to be like a JTM 45 kind of thing. This is like high gain, spitty, compressed distortion, not very, nice sounding. But it's cool. I don't really have anything else that does this, which is why I like it. And why it's making the stream tonight. Can we get what is the Tube Screamer sound? Yeah, it's tons of mid-range, and that's about it. So, yeah, hard drive, really cool. Pedal. It's one of those things that, like, you're either into this pedal or you're not into this pedal. It's not for everyone, which I kind of respect, because JHS, they have stuff like the Morning Glory, for example, which is sort of the everyman's overdrive in a lot of ways. It is an overdrive that it's like the Lightspeed, actually, very similar to Lightspeed in that it'll work with any guitar, with any amp, in just about any situation. You can get great sounds out of it, and it's kind of like designed to hit a really wide swath of guitar players, which is cool. And from a business perspective, I understand needing to have products out there like that. The hard drive is one of those things that, like, this is not for everybody. You're either into this kind of thing and you think it's cool, or you think it sucks and you would never understand why anyone would want it. And I think that's cool. Let's see here. Oh yeah, 55% off the Pentatonic box course. Link is in the chat if you want to check that out. Thank you. Okay, on to the next pedal, which is going to be, this. Okay, so this recently showed up in the mail. This is a company that I am not super familiar with. I believe they are French? No, Spanish. Sorry. I apologize. They are Spanish. This pedal is made in Barcelona. I heard about them actually on one of the JHS live streams, and I saw one of their pedals Josh talk about, which is this one, the Mocker. But this actually isn't the one I'm going to talk about tonight. I mean, maybe we can play this one. If you guys want me to play this one, we'll play this one. So I reached out to them on Instagram. I was like, hey, you guys have a really cool thing. Could I check out some of your stuff? And they sent me two pedals, the Mocker, and then this, which is the Woman Tone. And as you can probably tell by the artwork and the name, probably tell by the artwork and the name, it is basically supposed to be Clapton's, quote, Woman Tone in a box. And it is very cool. There's a couple actually cool things about this pedal. First of all is the concept. I like the idea of a company going, instead of like a specific circuit or an amps. Oh, this is this is supposed to be a Plexi in a box, or this is an AC30 in a box, or this is a blues breaker, but it's a modded Tube Screamer. But I like the idea of a company saying, no, this is a sound on a record in a box. That's what both of these pedals are, actually. So Woman Tone is Clapton. Mocker is supposed to be like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. The guitar sounds on that. This is a fuzz. This is a really cool fuzz. And it's like super nasally, Super wild. That actually reminds me, there's one other pedal that I forgot to bring out that we'll talk about in a minute. So that's cool. I like that concept of saying, no, this is a sound on a famous record from a famous player, whatever, in a box. So that's cool. Also, their enclosures are really cool. So they have this like these cutouts on the side here, which I think, I'm not sure, that they make their own pedal boards. And this is a system that's designed to like fasten the pedal to the pedal board. So that's cool, you know? Also in the box, one thing I've never seen before was they have like pre-cut Velcro, hook and loop, I should say, that is like pre-cut and ready to stick on the back of the pedal. So it sits flush and it covers the entire like back of the pedal. So some really cool things with this company. They're called Acclam, A-C-L-A-M, Acclaim. Not sure how you pronounce it. But yeah, this is the woman tone from Acclaim or Acclam, maybe. Sorry for mispronouncing the name. All right. So there's two sides here. The right side, I think, just turns on the drive pedal, which is a really nice sounding overdrive. And then the other side turns on the tone control. Dude, that's sick. Dude. So what's cool about it is like, so this tone control is working like the tone control on your guitar, right? Which you would say like, well, I'll just roll the tone off my guitar. But it's a different thing. So check this out. So if I have the tone on my guitar rolled all the way down, I get that, right? Which is cool. Why don't we just change keys real quick? We'll go from D to E, whatever. All right, so that's my guitar tone all the way down. But listen with the tone control on this rolled halfway down. It's shifting the mid-range around, and it's adding these like harmonics. Like the tones rolled off. The tones rolled off, but it's still sort of cutting through. Dude, I think this is so cool. And it does hold a note like forever. I mean, dude, this guitar doesn't have a neck pickup, okay? This guitar is a single telly. It's an Esquire setup with the tone on the guitar rolled all the way up, and listen to this. I mean, that's cool, man. Like, it kind of sounds like, even with the tone control off, if I just have the pedal on. I will say, I think the sound issue is coming from the power supply. I'm not using a very nice wall wart power supply here. I probably should just grab one of my one spots. It's not the pedal. I've been having power issues up here all night. So the issue is I can't find my one spot. So I'm using a really cheap, I don't even know what 9-volt power supply, and I think that's where the noise is coming from. So but what's cool about it is, like, it's almost even changing the sound of the pickup to more of a humbucker sound. Yeah, man, this pedal is cool. This is another one that's going to earn a spot, like, on the board, because it does kind of a fuzzy thing, which I like. It's a very character-filled sound. Is that how you say that? And this woman tone thing. Oh, my lovely wife found my one spot. Nice. Okay. Let's see if this actually fixes the issue. If not, it could be the lights in here, although I don't typically have power issues. But like I said, before I came on tonight, I was having a crazy ground hum in this microphone that I've never had before. And now I'm having noises from a pedal setup that I've never had before. Let's see. Yeah, it's better. I mean, it's not quiet, but that's much better. So it wasn't the pedal. How did Tilly know where my one spot was, genuinely? Chicken Little says, would love to hear the other pedal because that one is killer. All right, let's check out the other one. I wasn't planning on showing this one, but this is the Mocker. So this is supposed to be a fuzz inspired by Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. This has been the woman tone from Acclam pedals. Not affiliated with them. Not sponsored. They did send me both of these pedals. I asked them to send me both these pedals. So, but I'm not being paid. They did not ask for any kind of feature or anything like that. So keep that in mind. But I genuinely think these are cool pedals. And I like that concept. Again, I love the idea of just saying, hey, let's put the sound of this record in a box. Like this guitar sound, this famous guitar sound in a box. So, damn it. Do you guys care if I just ditch this? It's pissing me off. Stupid Amazon, like, you know. I need a way. Can someone tell me what, like, I need a good way to hold pedals, not just for live stream purposes or video purposes, but like, even if I'm just up here working on something, a lot of times I want the pedal to just sit here like this. Can someone out there, here's a fun project, someone who's got some 3D printing and design skills, can you design a stand or tell me about a stand that might exist for pedals that you can just they'll clamp on, they'll hold them, and they'll just sit on your desk nicely. I think that's a decent plan, because here's the thing: in the like synth world, for example, I've been really getting into like, holy shit, my desk is a mess. Okay, so for example, Electron Digitact, I bought this several months ago. I've fell in love with this thing. I love it, right? There are companies out there that make really cool stands for this type of stuff, like desktop synths and drum machines and everything to sit on your desk. But I don't see a lot of that stuff for the pedal world, and that's what I want. I want this to just like sit here on the desk and like just be in place and not slip around, and especially for live streams and stuff. Come on. Gordon says, look at Pete pedal holder. What Pete Thorne has. Oh, I've seen that Vice thing that Pete has, and that is kind of what I'm talking about. But I'm looking for more of like just an angled stand. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Look for a file to print pedal holder. I don't have a 3D printer though, is the thing. I've thought about getting one, but I don't know. It's another thing I don't have time for. Okay. Get a music stand and put Velcro, but it needs to work on my desk is the thing. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So here is the Mocker. So it's a fuzz, obviously, with a crazy tone control on it and a bias control. So the more you turn that bias down, let's get some reverb. Let's get like a gnarly... It's not quiet. I will say that. Really cool fuzz sound, though. Really, really cool fuzz. Put a delay on. Why the hell not? So yeah, the Mocker is like, to me, it's cool. It's less, it doesn't have the same kind of it factor thing that the Woman Tone has for me. It's just a cool fuzz. But yeah, really cool company, a Clam. I really feel like I'm saying that wrong, and I'm sorry. But yeah, there you go. Let's see if I missed any questions here. Let's hear the 2-Rock. I'm not patched in to be able to use any of the amps right now. And it'll be boring to watch me patch shit on my patch bay. But it's the Classic Reverb 100 watt. Classic Reverb signature, and it is excellent. Let's see here. Brandon says, I use the XTS desktop stand from Analog Cases. It doesn't clamp the pedals, but works perfectly. Okay, let's see here. XTS desktop stand. See if we can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Okay, yeah, look, this is what I'm talking about right here. Hey, there's a KO2. Nice. This is what, yes. Yes. Perfect. I'm going to buy one of these. It's just like a little pedal board, right, that just sits on your desk. Oh, hell yeah. Look, there's a Syntact or a Digitone and a Digitact right there. Done and done. Thank you. That's exactly what I, no, I don't want 10% off. I mean, I would love 10% off, but like, I don't know this company. This is cool. XTS desktop stands. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what I was looking for. Thank you. Who was that in the chat that called that out? Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that. How often do I use the Tascam reel-to-reel? Quite a bit. It's not here right now. It's being repaired because it's an old tape machine and things like that break and need to be serviced. Actually, both of my tape machines are being repaired right now. But, yeah. All right. Don't forget, if you're just joining us, we're running a sale on the Breaking Out of the Pentatonic Box course. You can get 55% off of that course via the link in the chat and in the description. It's a great course that's going to help you break out of the Pentatonic Box. Okay, so this is another pedal for me that I am really, really blown away by. So this is from JHS. This is the Beach Boys collab that they did earlier this year. It's the Punchline. Now, this is like less of a guitar pedal and actually more of a bass preamp and pedal, but it actually is pretty useful for guitar. Now, this is part of a collab that Benson and Keeley and JHS did with the Beach Boys to promote the Pet Sounds documentary that was coming out. And as part of the launch, I went to Sweetwater with Josh and with Chris Crone, and we recorded a like Beach Boys style track in the studio, in Studio A there. It was awesome. And I got to use the Punchline there and immediately fell in love with it. And I asked Josh if they would send me one. Now, these are still available. This is not sponsored, by the way. He did send this to me for free. I didn't pay for this. There is an affiliate link to these in the description box down below. They only made 1,000 of these, and there's still some available on Sweetwater, which is actually surprising to me. I think maybe people don't fully get it. Essentially, this is supposed to be like Carol Kay's bass signal chain in a pedal, which I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that because of copyright stuff, but that's essentially what's happening here. It is like, essentially, you have an EQ, I believe it's a Baxendall style EQ. You have an amp sim here, which is based off of like a Fender Vibrolux / like Ampeg B15 flip top. That's how I think Josh described it to me. You can turn that on and off. You've got an overdrive circuit here, which is a unique overdrive that JHS developed for this. Honestly, to me, this thing is worth it just for this drive circuit. It's pretty sick. And then you have a compressor at the end, which is really, really useful, that you can flip but to be either pre or post amp sim. So obviously it's great on bass. I might actually put some bass through it here, but it's a really cool guitar pedal too. So what I'm going to do is, I didn't think about having to patch this in. I'm going to take just a DI. How about that? What do we have here? Other one. So this to me is another cool thing where it's like this would live on your pedal board, maybe towards the end of your signal chain, and it can do the amp in a box amp sim thing. Like it's just a versatile preamp DI all-in-one solution. Again, it's aimed at bass players, but it's cool for guitar. It's got an XLR output on the back too, which is useful, which I'm not using right now. Okay, cool. So that's on. Getting signal there. Let me switch over. All right, so this is just like DI right now. Turn the amp sim on. And again, the amp sim is designed to be for bass primarily, but it can work really well for guitar. Here's the overdrive. Volume down. The compressor on. And the EQ's on too. The EQ's kind of always on. The gain staging's all screwed up right now because it's okay. So it's kind of like a clean, there's a ton of bass in it. Treble down, mids up. Clipping the mic preamp a little bit here. Here we go. So it's like a starter. Oh, only left ear. Shit, sorry, hold on. I know why. My bad. Well, actually, no, you should be hearing... That's weird. Why is that only coming in the left side? Oh, I know why. Damn. Well, unfortunately, that's not going to work for the stream because I'm going to have to reset my routing. You're right here, so jealous. Okay, sorry, guys. Need to pan at center. Okay, I can't do that right now on the stream, unfortunately, because of how I have the signal routed. Let me see. Try this. Taking a risk here, changing my I/O settings. All right, are we good? You guys still hear me? Yeah. Okay, what about this? Hey, there we go. So for guitar, it's mostly like a clean pedal platform style amp, right? Because it's designed to be a bass amp primarily, but... To me, though, the real sort of great thing about this is not necessarily the amp sim. It's the fact that you've got EQ, drive, compression, all in a box that can be a good DI amp solution if you need to, and is amazing on bass. Now the mic sounds weird. Okay, I know why. So I'll just keep playing this for a minute, and then we'll switch back to normal. But let me grab a bass real fast. All right. Okay, cool. There we go. So now I'm going to turn, that's just the amp sim and a little bit of compression. And if I turn the drive on, here we go, a little grit. And this compressor is so good, man. I've got it set pretty hard right now. I'll switch it to post, so now it's acting more like a studio compressor. It's the very end of the chain. Get the ratio set here. We'll turn the EQ. That's with the drive on. This is just the amp sim. Turn the gain down a little bit. There we go. Yeah, dude. This thing is so cool. So if you want like so with the amp sim off, so now it's just kind of a bass DI thing. We can get this. That's so fun, man. Yeah, the punchline. It's sick. There's still a few of those available, so if you're into this kind of thing, check it out. All right, let me switch my mic back to not be shitty. All right, is that better? Should be better. Cool. Let me get caught up with chat here, see if there's any questions. Sounds like the Black Keys. It does do that like really punchy, fuzzy Black Keys bass kind of vibe. Part of that too is the bass. So a lot of those Black Keys records, the bass was a short scale, like 64, I think, Bronco bass, which is really cool. This is my Shabbat. I just bought this. Well, I bought it earlier this year and it finally showed up. It is the Shabbat Bobcat. So it's basically a Mustang bass, short scale Fender Mustang bass with a Gibson Thunderbird pickup in it, and it is sick. Have I heard of the Pet yet? I haven't got to play it yet, but looks pretty fun. Kind of a crazy distortion. I have not. I've not played that before. Nice bass. Thank you. So yeah, those are some of my favorite pedals so far this year. What kind of pickup? This is like a Gibson Thunderbird bass pickup. So this is, it's got a ton of low end. I just put flat wounds on it today. Can I slap it a little? I do not slap bass. Yeah, man, I love this bass. A short scale bass is great too. If you're a guitar player and you're looking to get into bass, I would recommend one of two things. First of all, if you're going to have one bass to do everything, it should be a Fender P bass. And I think you should just put flat wounds on it and call it a day. It's good enough for James Jamerson. It's good enough for you. The P bass is like the end all be all one bass to do everything. But if you're coming from primarily a guitar background, I would recommend a short scale bass like a Mustang, or in this case, the Shabbat, because it's going to feel much more at home for you because the scale length is closer to what you're used to. They don't have any less low end. My good friend Philip Conrad actually did a great video on this on his YouTube channel not too long ago about the Mustang bass and like testing low end and stuff. And in fact, in some cases they have more low end than a P bass. But yeah, the short scale is cool, man. The string tension is a little bit easier. The scale length is much more comfortable for guitar players to get their hands around. And I do believe every guitar player should learn bass for a few reasons. One, it's going to instantly make you a better musician. The moment I started playing bass, which is about 10 years ago, I decided like my main goal was I didn't want to sound like a guitar player trying to play bass. I wanted to be able to sound like a real bass player. So I started practicing to songs. And a bass player friend of mine actually told me the first thing to worry about is like just pay attention to the kick drum. Whatever the kick drum does, you do in terms of rhythm. So I started learning songs. You know, I was learning Dawes from a window seat. Trying to get that like skipping thing. And what I quickly realized was that I had never been paying attention to the drummer or the rhythm section at all, the drums and the bass, because I'd never listened to music with the intention of paying specific attention, because I'd never listened to like music with the intent on listening to the kick drum specifically. And then the relationship of the kick and the snare, and then the kick and the snare and the hi-hat, and how that like impacted my musical choices. As a guitar player, I just would kind of feel what was happening in the rhythm section and then sort of play on top of it. And it taught me immediately like, oh, I'm not listening to the band. I'm playing on top of the band. I'm not a part of it. And almost overnight, it changed my guitar playing. I was touring a lot at that time and I was in a lot of rehearsals. And so not long after that, I started getting into rehearsals with bands and listening to the kick drum as a guitar player. And it immediately changed the decisions that I was making as a guitar player, all because I picked up bass and started learning bass. So it's awesome. And on top of that, bass is just fun. In some ways, it's more fun than guitar. You wield so much power with bass, especially if you get to play bass live, especially in a venue that has like good subs. If you're playing on a stage that has big subs, man, the feeling, the power that you wield with these four strings, it's awesome. David's asking, how is your experience with the labella strings? So far, really good. I just put them on this afternoon, so they definitely need to be broken in. But they feel great. They sound great. This bass came with rounds on it, and it was a little clacky sounding with rounds. I didn't love it with rounds. So I took the rounds off. I kept them, and I put flats on, and now this bass sounds like I want it to sound. Yeah, so we'll wrap up with a few questions here. Skinny George says, yeah, I'm sure your timing improved and your sense of groove got way better. It absolutely did. And I'm not a great bass player, but I'm happy that when I play bass, I feel like I don't sound like a guitar player, which is my number one goal. I do use a pick quite a bit on bass, but only for the sound. And that is something I would point out. Like if you're a guitar player playing bass, don't start with a pick. Like you already know how to play with a pick. So don't use that as a crutch. Put the pick down and actually work on your rest stroke technique, which is something I still struggle with, like trying to keep consistent eighth notes or 16th notes on this kind of thing. It's just hard for me. One thing I've started doing though recently is like, turn this drive off. Is this thing where you're playing with your thumb and your forefinger here, and you're muting with the palm of your hand. Philip and I went to go see, this was earlier this year, I think. They came through Atlanta, but Pino Palladino and Blake Mills came through Atlanta, and oh my God, it was like genuinely one of the best musical experiences I've ever had. Seeing Pino Palladino and Blake Mills together on stage was just incredible. And I'm a huge fan of both of those guys, but being able to sit 15 feet away from Pino Palladino while he was playing bass was one of the coolest things. And Philip is a bass player, and he and I both the whole time were just like watching Pino and like, oh my God, that's how he's doing that thing. And the whole night, Pino was basically playing like this. And for the bass players in the chat, you guys are all rolling your eyes because you're like, well, of course, everyone knows this. But as a guitar player, like, just bear with me. And it sort of validated this thing for me because I had a few years ago started playing like this just because it was easier for me. It was easier to like groove and stay in the pocket playing with my thumb and my first finger. See, and you can get that like muted kind of sound too. And so when I saw Pino start to do that, I was like, oh, that's really encouraging because, it does open you up, to do different things that you can do this way with rest strokes, but it's much harder, especially for a guitar player who didn't, I didn't learn to play this way. Right. So yeah, that's one thing. If you are having trouble as a guitar player picking up bass, like, maybe try your right hand technique this way with the thumb and the first finger. Like, I can't play with that much dexterity with this. Like, it's just harder for me. So yeah. Let's see here. Gordon says, in your opinion, do you think the Friedman Plex is the do-it-all amp for all the different iconic Marshall tones? I would say not all of the iconic Marshall tones. Definitely that late 60s to early 70s Plexi to JMP metal panel thing. Yes, for sure. That's an incredible amp. And it's really useful. The master volume on it sounds great. The internally jump channels are really nice. And the bright cap switches, the bright cap mods are super awesome. I actually gigged that amp a few weeks ago with my band Good Trouble, and it sounded amazing. It's not going to get you that like JCM 800, 900 grindy, more high gain kind of thing. It's a 68 Plexi. It's a 50 watt 68 Plexi. So, if you're looking for that sort of sound, it's great. And because of the bright cap switches, you can kind of get into more of the JTM 45 category. But it's a 68 Plexi, 50 watt. So yeah. Let's see here. What's my favorite cab sim? I think the Oxbox from UA is probably my favorite all around. One. How about the new anti-pedal from UA? I have not checked that one out. There's another one coming that I can't talk about yet that is very, very, very good that I have checked out, that I'm excited for people to hear. Backline Beat. This is a good one. What's your favorite random out-of-nowhere music shop wanting to travel and find some off-the-beaten path places to visit and so on? Okay, this store is not random or off the beaten path, but it is one of my favorite music stores in the country. And we found it randomly on tour back in 2019. We were in DC, and we were leaving DC on the way to New York City, and we needed strings. So I just Googled a place we needed to drop in really fast, and we ended up going to Action Music in it's outside of DC somewhere. Forgive me. It's either in Virginia or Maryland, one of the two. Someone in chat can let me know. But Action Music, this is like the quintessential great American guitar store. We walked in there and immediately I was playing with Good Trouble. So it was me and Noah and Ian and Philip. We walked in and we're like, holy shit, this is like a real shop. Like, they had a Burst sitting in the case, and they had a 54 Les Paul, and they had all these amazing amps, and they had this amazing pedal selection. And we ended up staying there for like, I think an hour or so. The owner of the shop, forgive me, I'm forgetting his name right now, was so kind, was so nice. One of my guitars was in desperate need of a setup. The intonation was, and he just like took it and did it for me for free. Like, we went in there for strings, and he just really took care of us. So Action Music, it's great. Falls Church, Virginia. Thank you, PW. Falls Church, Virginia. It's a really, really cool shop. I've only been there that one time, but it was great. Carmine Street Guitars in New York City, Greenwich Village. If you are in New York, if you're visiting New York, go to Carmine Street. Cindy Hewledge is there. Rick Kelly is there. It's just a cool shop, man. And the guitars that Cindy builds, she's an artist, man. She is really, really great. They build guitars there out of old New York City reclaimed wood from historic buildings. Look it up. Cindy Guitars, Carmine Street Guitars. There's a documentary about them you can check out. That's really cool. Matt Baker, that's it. Yes, Matt Baker is the owner of Action Music. Thank you, Philip. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, that was a great surprise that day. Just like, oh, we need some strings. We need some odds and ends. This place looks okay on Google, and walked in. We're like, oh, dude, this place is awesome. So yeah, those are some good ones. Yep, Tilly just dropped the link to Carmine Street in the chat. Maybe demo the newer Epiphones. Mark is asking. Be cool. Do you think we're gonna make a Gavin? What's up, man? Good to see you. Still loving Lark. Do you think we're gonna make a revival? I don't think we'll probably make a revival of the Lark. That was a fun thing that Zach and I did a few years ago. We've kicked around some ideas of other pedals more recently that we will probably do together. He's working on a very big project right now that he is getting ready to announce, I think here pretty soon. And that is taking up all of his time. I hope he doesn't mind me speaking out of school a little bit, but there's a big project happening over there at the Mythos camp that's keeping those boys real busy. So once they get through that, then, yeah, Zach and I have been kicking around some ideas of potentially launching like a pedal line. He and I together, it would be separate from Mythos, but made by and at Mythos. So there's some stuff kind of happening in the background there. Thoughts on the Strymon Big Sky MX? I haven't tried it. Looks cool. But yeah, haven't had a chance to check it out. Curtis asking, played one of the Gibson Falcon amps. They might sound fine, but some of their builds look sus to me. Are you talking about the old ones? Are there even new ones out there that I'm just not hip to? Sometimes, you know, stuff releases in the guitar world that I'm just completely unaware of. Oh yeah, Falcon 20. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? Falcon 5 and yeah, Falcon 20. Okay, for some reason I was thinking that was called the GA5. Still, I have one of these. Why did I space on this? So, okay, when these came out, there was a lot of hate levied towards them because of the tubes being mounted to the circuit board. And I think that's a fair criticism. I can see that over time that could be a potential issue. They are being built by Mesa. You know, Mesa's a good brand with good reputation. They are known for being very complicated and difficult to work on from a tech perspective. I'm not an amp tech, so take my words with a grain of salt here, but that's what I've been told and what I've heard. Now, the tube sockets being mounted to the PCB, I understand the concern there. Like, one thing I don't like about cheap amps is, you know, when you have the volume and tone pots mounted directly to the PCB. Now, how are those amps going to hold up over time? I don't know. You're just going to have, it's one of those things, like, it's a new line, it's a new design for them. It's going to have to, you know, time will tell. The good thing is Gibson's a big company. They back up their stuff. They warranty their stuff. So if it does start to become a problem, I'm confident that they will step up and make it right. I think it sounds good. I've got the Falcon 5. It's a cool amp. It sounds good. It does that small amp thing really well. It's got a built-in reverb. The low wattage setting is really useful. It's my amp that I sort of play around the house quite a bit because I can just turn it on that low wattage setting and it's not terribly loud, and it's an amp in a room and it feels good. I have not taken it out. I've not gigged with it. I've not traveled with it, so I can't speak to its like reliability outside of the house. But yeah, cool. All right, everyone. Well, I think it's going to do it for tonight's stream. I appreciate everyone hanging out. It's been a good hang here. One last time, 55% off the Breaking Out of the Pentatonic Box course. Link is in the chat and in the description, as well as links to all the pedals that we talked about tonight. Again, some of these pedals were given to me. Some of them I bought. Some of those links are affiliate links. They will be labeled accordingly. And yeah, as always, appreciate everyone hanging out. It's been a fun stream. Come to Fretboard Summit if you're in Chicago this weekend. We're going to be there having a good time. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, Jonathan, cool. See you at Fretboard Summit. Nice, man. I saw a few other people here in the chat saying they're going to be there. I'm doing a talk on Sunday morning. Is the internet ruining guitar? So that'll be fun. And yeah, cool. Appreciate y'all hanging out. And I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.